Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our committee as a whole meeting. You want to go ahead and I'll call this meeting to order, and if you can please take the roll.
Councilmember Sherburne.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Gray.
Here.
Councilmember Dittrich.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Here.
And we're all here. Okay, well, we'll get right to it. Utility easements, Line Street and Fink property. We'll go ahead and start with that.
Yep, so we sent out to everybody a copy of what Randy Redbird was able to pull together from the survey work, with our new camera equipment for the sanitary sewer. We were able to trail that and find out exactly where that storm sewer main lies, in the easement area or along that west Line Street area. We trailed that out. We were able to identify that part of that storm sewer was not actually in the 30-foot stormwater easement. That was platted for whatever reason, the property owner or the contractor to put that in, the property owner owned it at the time. They agreed to where that location was. That line was put in place, but they never adjusted where the easement sat over top of that sanitary or the storm sewer. There's also a water main that goes along that west area. Even though we kind of talk about it as Line Street, it's still private property. It's not an actual plat of right of way. I believe there was a 10-foot utility easement for that water main. Goes along the north end there of that easement. It's hard to see unless you zoom in and look at it. And it looks like part of that is not actually in a easement area either. Then when you go to the north-south easement line, that goes from what would be Line Street extending to the south to Acre Street. It does look like that water main does creep to the east and out of the existing water main easement that's in place. And we get down to that southern tier, it looks like about 40 foot north of Line Street right away, where the water main starts creeping across the corner of that water or that easement area into that right of way. So Randy has put together a legal description that would cover where the storm sewer sits and where the water main sits. So we have three options basically for the council. Right now, the city can make a claim that those utilities are in there by prescriptive rights. We can make that claim. They've been there well, the storm sewer's been there for more than 50 years. So it's been there for a while. Long before Mark purchased it, but it's been there. So we could make that claim. To verify that claim, if the property owner, Mark, wanted to challenge that, we would have to go to court and argue that in court, and we may or may not win that. So that's one thing. We could relocate those utilities into those easement areas. That's an expense that would be borne by the city to relocate those mains. Or we can try to work out a compromise, work with Mr. Fink to get a new easement agreement that covers where those mains are, those utilities, and get some sort of agreement in relocating that easement area, and getting that, so they are actually within the easements.
So instead of moving the pipes, you move these.
Correct.
Yeah, I do idea.
So those are the three options we have available as the council. Really what we need to make that decision is what options the council want to do or move forward with. Years ago, we didn't have the technology to trail these utilities like we do today. It's obvious the surveying has gotten a little easier, a little better too. But yeah, there's a problem, and we'll need to figure out some way to solve that.
What does Mark have to say about it?
I've talked to him.
He's here, isn't he? There he is. Yeah. Okay.
I felt this was a discussion the council needed to have first, because it's a council problem.
I guess, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian. Excuse me.
Well, obviously, the best scenario that I see is to try to work out with the property owner.
Mhm.
The rest of it's gonna be very costly to the city. Yeah, I think we should knuckle down and just try to work with the property owner.
That's what I was gonna say, so thank you for saying it.
Yeah, just seems like that's kind of a no-brainer right now.
Okay. Well, I will work with Mark and have a conversation with him.
Wait a minute, Bill, what do you think?
I kind of the same thing. I think we gotta figure it out, and You kind of wish 50 years ago, they would have had a better idea to shoot this better. and-
Well, again, 50 years ago, it's the same owner on both sides of that easement area. And he may have told the contractor to push it through himself. It may be an issue that they didn't do the as-built and didn't follow it or trace it along. Cause initially we had about 40 foot of easement.
Yeah.
You would think you could land the pipe inside of 40 feet.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, anything we can do to not go to court would be, preferred by me. I don't really wanna get into, going to court against citizens. I don't think that's in our best interest, so I'd like to, work with the property owner and find that middle ground and everybody be happy in the situation. We can still smile and shake hands and wave at each other at the end of the day, so that'd be my goal.
Okay. I'll have a conversation.
You said the same thing,
I would
didn't you? You were
agree
not.
with the compromise.
The same
I agree
thing.
with compromise too, because it's a lot easier to get along with people like Joe said, if you work things out, so, and it will save us a lot of money at the end too, so that's very important.
Okay,
All right.
so,
Well, like I said, we just got this stuff back. We were able to talk with the city attorney, want to make sure we knew what the options were, bring it to the council, see where council wanted direction to go.
okay, so you and Mr. Hank will get together and talk.
Mhm.
Okay, great, thanks. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, next, is there any other discussion on that or okay. Next, we're gonna have fire department constitution and bylaws updates.
Chief Randy Rettenberg is here. If you can come in and talk to the council regarding that.
Basically, it says in the city code that if we change our bylaws, you guys gotta approve it, which is fine. So we updated it a little bit. Most of it was about elections, officer elections. And just tweaking it for the timing of trying to make sure that we get our officer elections done before the end of the year so that you guys can have it before the, and talk with Jim, probably the first meeting in December.
Right.
So just in case you guys don't have a second meeting, a council meeting in December, so that's the majority of it. There was a couple other things, we talked about the treasurer, doing the books, well, the treasurer doesn't do the books, the treasurer just gets the bills and codes them and gives them to Laura and Eric.
Okay,
So, and basically just an overall update of the bylaws since they haven't been done for a number of years. So, in essence, that's short term, that's what it was.
I want to mention something to you. I had written it down and I lost my piece of paper, but I was able to find it again. In Article 6, Section 3, you say, in order to assure that there will always be an officer in command at fires, the following shall be in the chain of command: chief, assistant chief, safety officer, first captain, second captain, first lieutenant, second lieutenant, safety officer is again repeated. You might just want to take your safety officer out of there once because it's not clear in which position he is because it's stated twice.
Actually, the safety officer can pretty much just trump everybody, so.
Well, that's fine, but I just thought you would
Yeah,
like
it's-
to, if you hadn't realized it was there twice,
Yeah, it doesn't need
it
to be
might be
twice.
confusing for somebody,
Yeah.
and so I just wanted to point that out to
Yeah,
you, because
that's fine.
sometimes it's just a typographical.
Yeah, we can just take the, last safety officer out because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goes in first, okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
any other questions or comments for Andy?
This will be on the agenda then.
For Monday night?
Mine is good.
Okay, thank you, Rain.
Yeah.
All right. Next, discussion regarding the city code for our signs in the right of way.
Yeah, I had Councilmember Linda Schmidt and Councilmember Joe Ditch reached back out to me, asking to put this back on the agenda. We had this conversation early on in September, and they want to bring this back up for additional discussion, so that's the reason it's back on the agenda.
I'll start first. There are residents that have the kid alert signs out, which are the little, like neon green guys with flags. And they live in a very high traffic area when school is starting in the end of the day. And they wish we could get that put in there so they can stay. Because otherwise, we need more police presence because people are nuts after school driving on.
Okay.
It's just a
We,
whole.
we did not remove those. Again, that's council discretion. The challenge you're gonna run into is every time you expand that exception, is where does it end, where does it start? And so the little figurine out there with the kid, slow kids at play. The question is it any different than a speed limit sign?
Right.
Right.
I mean, are you gonna get any better response out of the drivers because of it? And depending on where they live at, you know, there may be cars parked in front of it, so you're not gonna see it anyway. I don't have a problem with leaving them where they're at, because it's not, part of the problem we've had with the signs are they're advertising something.
This isn't really
That's not really advertising,
for
it's just
safety.
more of a safety. It's a feel good, but, I don't have a problem with us leaving them in place. But at what point do we start getting more challenges on that?
Right. And that's some of the feedback I was getting, and why I wanted to have this re-brought up, like, we're not ever gonna nail every code out of the park the first time around. And getting all of them off was to go after a certain issue, but then once everything pulled off, so to say, then you stop back and you look and you're like, wait, we shouldn't have pulled this one. And that would be a safety concern, like advertising gone, but safety type related things of any, like, nobody's trying to make money off it, we're just trying to be safer. And then I've just had a lot of feedback from that, asking that we would put something in there that the signs in the right of way is exclusive to advertising, like if that's prohibited. If it's a safety thing, you know, child at play or something like that, allowing them to do that. So that was just, I mean, it's very hard to get the wording right on the codes to make sure that we got everything protected from every angle, and we're starting to see it already from, you know, feedback I've gotten. So that's why I just wanted to open it back up for conversation, so.
Yep.
So if they have, like, say, a deaf child or a blind child in the area,
We do have signs.
you have signs that you can
And
actually
you
put
can
up.
see signs,
Okay, that can go up.
can go up.
Okay.
Their feelings were too that maybe we need more police presence in those areas after school, before school, because somebody's gonna get hurt. 'Cause kids a lot of times don't even look and you go across, somebody's gonna get run over.
You know, is that, totally up to the police department? And because it's, should the school participate in that, if it's school age children coming in and out?
Which street is this for sure? Is it Sherman or
Sherman.
New? Yeah, because I know the police are up on the
They
middle.
they do patrol.
They
up there
patrol up there,
quite
they
high-
after school.
yeah. I mean, typically, every officer we have on duty at that time, they hit up there and they patrol.
And one thing I wanna just bring to light, Ben's not here to chime in on it, and I've been working with Ben personally, I can't say who else has been involved in it or not, but, with 6 kids, I've got my heart deep in this one. And I used to drive crazy, I mean, anybody can look at my driving record, know I was one of those kids that needed to slow down, but, I've talked to Ben a handful of times about it and stuff, and there's times where something else in Manchester is happening where we cannot be there. As far as the police department being up there, we have, if we sit down and we look at what we have for police staffing and understanding everything, like, Ben and I have had a lot of conversations about this. Ben's got the exact same mindset as I've got as far as cracking down at this, what all the residents want and all this other stuff. But for me looking out, I also want to bring up the fact that it wasn't that long ago that we were all fighting about the police being too aggressive. So, I mean, I'll be the devil's advocate in the room and bring up both sides of it. I definitely want safer streets, and I definitely want everything that everybody else wants, but that does mean you're gonna see a lot more lights flashing around the neighborhood. Like, you have to understand that's part of how this works. So, I don't feel like I have to defend Ben by any means, but I just,
Well, that's true, that because of speeding since
Right.
COVID has gotten crazy and people just flying through stop signs and
Yep.
everything else. I've been T-boned twice
you know,
because people didn't stop. So, I mean, it wasn't my fault, it was somebody else's.
and
So,
it's anywhere that there's
Yeah.
a street,
Yep.
nice road,
Mhm.
straight, nice road, but
Right.
they
And
turn into
wide.
a drag strip. I
And
mean, look
wide.
at South River Street.
It's terrible. But, and just found a newspaper from 1985, I'm going through my in-laws, and they were talking about the exact same thing you just brought up. So this has been going on for years. Bruce Trapp back, how many years ago? They've been having people up there for years. They changed up the traffic patterns up there at the school. They changed where they loaded.
Yeah.
But, there's only so many police to go around too. So, but
You know, we do try to be a big presence up there, so,
Absolutely.
but again, we're limited as to how many people we can put out there.
Well, and, you know, maybe we have a sit-down conversation, and I don't know who's in the room when you have this, but you start talking to everybody in the community, West Delaware, the county, everybody, and see if we can find some way to maybe put an SRO officer in, and run those kind of programs, because those have been beneficial in communities. That there's gonna be a cop that's gonna be there during school hours. I mean, that's an added officer up there, so.
Yeah. But that's, again, added cost, so
Right.
we need to have to figure that out.
Right, but I mean, if we can start pulling together a little, maybe a little bit, see, I mean, yeah, the first thing that comes up, like we were talking about, we're gonna shoot it down because the costs are after that.
Mhm.
But let's take a step back, look at another angle. Are there grant monies? Is there something that the school can get but we can't? And that, just open up the dialogue.
We've had some dialogue with, Sheriff, Travis, yeah, I've talked, I mean, that's something he and we've talked at our emergency management meetings and stuff like that. So, I think there is a want for it, it's just everybody's trying to figure out how they can fund it.
Right.
So, anyway, and I don't know that they would actually be SRO, isn't that more inside the school? It's
Well,
not-
they typically are inside the school, but
Right.
they're building those relationships with those kids.
Right, but they're not the ones driving, it's the parents we have to address.
His parents are driving crazy too.
Yeah, and then also the high school kids who are leaving the high school building, thank God they're letting them out a little bit ahead of time, but some of them doing that turn on East Union and New Street there, it's crazy. And we've already seen enough accidents in that area. So, good discussion. Is there anything else you want to add to it, or?
Well, once you put up a sign that says slow down in one street, the next guy's gonna say, well, they drive crazy on my street, we have signs all over the place and. And they would ignore them too.
Yeah, we have that same issue with stop signs.
In 25-mile-an-hour zones and.
Exactly.
And residentials, we typically don't sign 25-mile-an-hour zones in residentials. Because
It's a standard.
it's a standard, that's.
It could just be a snowball effect that wouldn't do any good anyway.
But we haven't pulled those
No.
kid signs, and
No.
those are ones from a safety standpoint.
Right, those are staying.
We'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Next item, we received some information from our city attorney, and I'll let Tim address that.
Yeah, Jim Peters has submitted his letter of resignation. His firm will no longer be doing municipal, law, coming into this year. So we'll have an opening on our city attorney. I would like to know how the council would like to fill that. Whether you want to go out for requests for proposals, whether you have a firm in mind that you would like us to approach, or any thoughts on how we would go about with the new city attorney. It's been 35 years. Jim's done a tremendous job for us. A lot of experience. And he's also given us a pretty good discount.
Mhm.
What I'm gonna tell you right now is new attorney's gonna be a lot more expensive. So, some of the thought processes, as I was weighing this, is maybe we don't need to have the city attorney here at every meeting. Maybe we look at just once a month, have them here for either the first or the second meeting of the month, whoever they are, and have it that way, so we can have questions answered. I mean, they'll still respond to emails and calls, but it's just, how often do we need them here?
If we feel like we're gonna need them for something specific, we could ask
We
them
could
to
ask.
be here,
Mhm.
but not ask them to be there.
that's
That
what
would be
a
a big savings.
That's what a lot of
right
small
there.
towns do.
Problem is, I think you're gonna have trouble finding anybody in the immediate area. I mean, Jim's obviously not immediate, but he's pretty darn close. But I think you're gonna have trouble because a lot of small towns now are having trouble finding anybody to be a lawyer. No one in town, I believe, is appropriate to do it because in Manchester, because it's too much of a conflict of interest for them, and I don't wanna do that to them. So I feel we have to go out of town. And I'm not sure where we can go, so I guess I would like to see you look at some possibilities and maybe bring us a couple of possibilities, maybe
Well,
ask them for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
did
you
reach
have
out to
ideas.
the Delaware County clerks to see who they use. A lot of them
Yes.
use Jim Peters, so they're gonna say
That
no.
doesn't help.
But there is a firm in Elkader, that, Earlville and Edgewood use. And then there's a firm in Dyersville that Delhi uses, Henry Mediation Services. And, we have used to Lynch Dallas for HR.
Right.
We could look at,
There's a possibility. I think part of the problem too is that so many cities have their meetings, I think on Monday night, and you don't wanna get somebody who can't come to our meeting because they have to be at this meeting and they can't be in two places at once. And so, I guess what I would like to see us do is look at some of these possibilities, ask them for
Mhm.
what they would charge us to come to a meeting, and, you know, what they would charge us if we just have to call them during the meeting, or we have to call them outside of that. I'd like to see some fast numbers to what it would be, and I would also like maybe Aaron to talk to some of these other clerks and see what they think of these people, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna know them, you know, and I don't wanna go strictly on money. Because Jim has been great, I think, and he's easy to talk to, and I think he's very good at what he does, but we need somebody else that's very good at what they do too, so.
And we didn't know if the council had any other attorneys that they worked with that they'd like us to reach out.
I think the best way for us to move forward then with this would just do a request for proposals for city attorney services.
Okay,
And then we just send that out to a number of law firms and people we refer to, have them send us proposals. We'd sit down with the subcommittee of the council to review those, or the full council, however you'd like to do it.
Yeah.
And then work our way through that selection process.
The one question I would have before we get to that is, what are we expecting them to do? So as far as, are we wanting them at every meeting? Are we gonna look for somebody and let them know, hey, we're only gonna need you for one meeting a month? Like, what,
that's what Tim just said
right,
earlier, was
Right.
the possibility of going
of
down.
What the
doing
council's
that,
feeling.
well, what's the council's feeling on that? Like,
I think it's
I think
reasonable.
I do too. I think it's reasonable to, you know.
Just
to-
once a month.
that way when we go out for the new lawyer, we know, like, we're not day to day, you know, Tim and Aaron, we're probably gonna spearhead this, or whoever's spearheading it, but you'll have what we want to
And
do.
that firm also will have an idea of what we're expecting.
Right, to even know if they even wanna put their hat in the ring.
Right.
Does, Erin would probably know, she'd be able to find out whether or not some of the other towns, if they're there for both meetings, or,
They typically don't have the attorneys at the meetings,
oh,
The smaller towns don't.
don't. I can check with I didn't judge Tigers, so I can check with them and see who their attorney is, unless you know.
I don't remember off the top of my head who the attorney is.
RJ's not interested in doing it at
I
all.
think the whole
The
firm is not doing it at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
I knew Jim was retiring, or he was retiring, so.
They're looking at like downsizing on their way out of.
Change my focus.
Right.
Because municipal government doesn't pay as well as some of their other clients and
They,
responsibilities.
yeah, they do a lot of taxes and the estates and that, and those are a little more lucrative than city work.
And it's just him and RJ, isn't it?
There's another.
Or did they bring in another one?
That Gary.
I think he's fully retired now. I think he's just
I
taxes
think it's
now.
just the two guys there now. So, anyway, okay, any other, you feel like you have direction?
Yep, we'll prepare an RFP, just be submitted. I should have that ready for you to review Monday night. And as long as you're good with it, we'll send it out.
Okay, sounds like a plan, all right. I saw Jason come in first, so I'll let him go first.
So what we're working on right now is going through the Grand Avenue Trail for the federal aid process. I believe a week and a half ago, we should have cleared the environmental portions of things now. And so the next phase here is for them to review the check plans. Opening those will be submitted, and then we'll go through those one final time with staff before we do a final plan upload here in December.
Okay.
So if there's any questions, I mean, it's pretty simple.
Any other questions for Jason? Okay, thank you very much. Your turn, Sam.
So Anderson Street. Just today sent the preliminary special something schedule and plat. Just over to Tim and Aaron, just so the council can kind of take a look at that. If they have any questions, we can discuss it in the next meeting, but I'll work with Tim on trying to get a property owner meeting set up, work on dates and location and time.
Later October, we'll probably look at 28th as well.
Yeah, cause.
I prefer the 21st, but I think that's still too fast.
Yeah, the 21st, 28th, and 30th are the three that were coming out later that I won't be available for, but say we don't.
I want to work with the rest of the staff to see
Yep.
what dates work best.
Yep, so like I say, we'll kind of work with the city staff on that and come up with the date and time and then get letters sent out to residents, when we're ready. But yeah, say if there's any questions from the council on schedule, pretty much did everything the same as last year. The one change is we did add that for any property owners that have sump pump connections, so there's a few of them you'll see on there, but we'll bring that up back around to at the property owner meeting to see if there's any other ones that wanna add a sump pump. Just to say, we kinda can see a few out there, there's only one that's going to curb for date, but some of them are just kinda laying out their yard, if they wanna get them dug all the way up to kinda close to the back of the sidewalk is where the city project would then grab on and get them out to the,
Great
get them
idea.
sub-drain. So we'll kind of put the question to folks at that meeting, but that's really the major change to the schedule. Everything else is the same. We received plans just from MediaCom this morning. We'll get those, kind of look at those and pass along to city staff as well. You know, did they submit for a permit yet? Or anything? It just came into my inbox this morning, but, I think that's, yeah, I think that's it. So, does anybody have any questions?
No questions for Sam. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so, let's start with, I'll go with Doug. You go first.
The dog park dog park committee had a fundraiser this past weekend, raised $417. That was food sales and glow necklace sales at the Pumpkin Patch. Dogtoberfest is this Sunday from 1 to 4 down at Whitewater Park. Another fundraiser, for the dog park committee. Pool floor, the company is supposed to be in mid-October, take care of the flooring. The Baum Park arch footings are in. And, just waiting to get the water electrical bore to that, and then the, actual metal fabricated from St. Harm's welding class, and then we'll get those up. And then we will have restrooms open for the next couple weeks, it looks like. It looks like we don't have any, freeze scares at all coming up, or hard frost scares, so we'll start to get those, wound up and, keep an eye on the weather, and then when we get close, we'll shut them down. We'll be doing a lot of leaves.
I have a question?
Yeah.
What are the times for the Dogtober?
1 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Doug?
All right.
All right, thank you, Doug. All right, Jason.
The guys are wrapping up the concrete work for the year. We've had a killer job on Line Street. They've done a knockout job on stuff up there. Poured a lot of concrete the last month here. We got one patch to finish. And got, like I said, Doug's columns in over at, Mountain Park. Next week, we'll start leaf pickup on Monday. At least with the sweeper, I mean, we'll probably run around, pick up some piles. I don't look for it to be too crazy yet next week, but we'll at least get the sweeper and stuff going to start cleaning things up, but
Probably need a good frost before we see too
Yeah.
much drop.
yeah, things look pretty good yet, so that's the big things we got going on. We'll be hitting the sewer work hot and heavy now too, so that's gonna be lift stations cleaned and things like that will be moving along, so that's our big fall projects.
Okay. Any questions for Jason? No? Okay, thank you, sir. Perry, welcome back.
With that, I'd like to thank everybody that reached out to me while I was off there for a little bit.
Mhm.
Guess the most exciting news that I have is I had an email today that the UV bulbs have shipped.
Good.
Since the first part of March when the first one shipped broke, so we're in the middle of our last E. coli right now, so it's, I guess, better late than never. We will be at the fairgrounds on Thursday for the junior.
Junior.
It's business and industry.
business and industry.
Yeah.
So, the wastewater department and the water department will be there for that on Thursday. Next week, we'll be in Dubuque for some CEU classes on Tuesday and Wednesday. Our goal is to have the pool finished up and winterized by the end of this week. And then as soon as Doug lets us know, and we can shut down the Whitewater Park, we're gonna try to push that back as far as we can, so. On the locate side, Commonwealth will be back in town this week to finish up North Town, West or East Honey Creek. And that will finish up their project for the year. So Black Hills has a whole bunch of work yet to do on these mains, so it will be
It looks like it.
quite a mess out there for.
You wanna talk a little bit, Black Hills is installing a new 4-inch gas main down East Main Street, and they're heading east out of town with that main. And so it's a little bit of a challenge based on all the fiber that's buried in the ground, all the electric that's down in the ground. We have our storm sewer, so the gas main is actually gonna crisscross Main Street in a couple different locations in order for it to accommodate that new main. So they put the main in now, and then next year they will be back to run the service lines.
They're up to Bailey Drive now. Did they work today on your street?
They look like they're set up in front of
They-
the.
They're supposed to do Bailey Drive from the freeway intersection to the railroad tracks today. I don't know what the weather did to them, but. And then the second house east of Bailey Drive, they will shoot back across the road to the south side, and then now they plan to run the entire south side. The north side was just too busy for them to get that big main in, so unfortunately, that means there's gonna be a lot of holes
In our new
and
concrete
some
on
brand
your
new
side.
concrete, so.
Oh, the sidewalks, not the concrete.
No,
The
no,
street.
in the street.
In the street? Oh, shoot.
Have they been talking to the property owners where they're taking out the sidewalk?
I have no idea, I just get phone calls from the contractor that's doing the work, I have not seen,
Will they be putting those back in this fall?
yes.
Okay, good, because I know we'll start to get
And
questions
the
on
patches in the
that.
street have to be full panel
Panels,
patches, so they can't just fill
Mm,
their
gotcha.
little holes.
Good.
So, but there is a ton of sidewalk from the fire station
Yeah, there is.
to Bailey Drive right now, so.
Mhm.
My question is, how come Black Hills didn't know this before we did the construction and we're ripping stuff up and,
I can't speak to
I
why
would
Black
love
Hills.
that answer on that.
cause that's really making a mess
I
of
mean,
people's new
I think the
sidewalks.
growth on the east end had something to do with it, they need a lot more gas out there now, but
I know the,
farmers co-op.
Farmers Co-op needed some upgraded gas main out there. And we had conversations a couple of years ago, that's part of the reason we talked to them prior to this doing these projects. We try to get them to update those
Mhm.
underground utilities before we get in there and start our project, but, again, they did make a determination that they were gonna spend the money this time to upgrade and replace that main.
So unfortunately, they will be back. Well, that's majority of next summer doing the same thing again, but running it to every individual house and business, so.
All the way down.
All the way.
All the way out.
All the way from the fire station to the east end to the Olympic.
Got it.
So. And portions of Anderson Street.
Mhm.
So is that what they got the corner of the fire department door up for the other day?
Yeah. Okay, anything else, Perry?
Not for me.
Any other questions for Perry? Okay, thank you. Chad?
We're just basically doing our fall stuff, so flushing hydrants. Hoping to wrap that up here in the next end of this week, maybe middle of next week. Working on a lot of meter repair stuff, trying to get caught up on those things. Added to Jason's concrete list, we had a valve break up kind of by the big blue water tower out in the industrial zone. So that pushed him back a little bit, but we were able to get that dug up fixed and concrete replaced up there. Like they all mentioned with parks, by the end of this month, I assume we'll be busy with, all the parks shut down and getting back, all that fun stuff. And Barry mentioned classes and being up at the fairgrounds, so it's about all we got shaken. The Black Hills Energy Group that's working out there, I would assume they have reached out to the homeowners for the sidewalks. They hit a water line and they had covered everything. By the time I got there, they already had the homeowner call, the contractor called to fix the water line. So they're actually a pretty good group of guys.
Awesome,
So
good.
I won't be too worried about them.
Awesome. Any other questions for Chad, or did you have anything else, Chad? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Apologize. No, okay, thank you, sir. Yeah. All right, Tim?
K1 Storage is in there shopping out completely, the office area, they're still working on shop that actually done, Farmer Savings Bank. Loosened dirt, but they haven't done the footage yet. multi-family stuff then. RMC's addition, all the underground plumbing's done, that one of the floors in the basement, nothing more. The alley is all closed in now. They have all the walls and interior walls done,
Mhm.
locked. They're doing wiring, plumbing, heating, air conditioning in there now. Excel trailer just still only has a concrete floor for their addition, they haven't started actually. We had 2 new houses last week, one in Meadowbrook, one in Oakview. And I'll be starting tomorrow on, well, I started last week with sidewalk inspections on Ward Ingredients.
Is that Ward 3? I thought I
Ward
read
3, yeah.
Meadowbrook, that's
East,
Wes's.
Yeah.
Yes, so is that, I'm wondering that same area where I had the question, so there's a house going up soon. Okay, because I had a constituent reach out and wanted to know about the pile of dirt and how much longer they had to look at it, so. Is that gonna be in the same area?
The house. actually-
112 Neighbor Drive, I think is what it was.
The house now.
No,
Just,
That's the one clear down on the north end of that property that has a stockpile of topsoil for every house he builds.
okay. And how do we, I mean, just because it came up, I'm just bringing it up, but, how do we handle that? I mean, I know that they've gotta have an opportunity to have time to
material.
store material and do, but does it have to, I mean, do they have to keep it trimmed so that there's not stuff growing out of it? And, I mean, trimmed up so it doesn't look
they
really
spray
bad?
the weeds.
They spray the weeds?
Instead of actually not.
Okay.
He sprays them, they die, I think they're still
Standing.
round, dead weeds.
Yeah.
In our subdivision ordinance, as long as they mow the first 15, 25 foot,
Yeah.
they can keep the rest of it up, because in a lot of cases, other areas, they'll still farm it, where they'll put hay or something down there and cut it and bale it.
Mhm.
But as long as they cut that first 25 feet up along the street, that's where it's maintained, mowed, and fire control that way.
Mhm.
Uh,
But this is more residential almost now than farm, correct? Or not?
Well, it is, but it wouldn't be any different than what we've done in Fairview subdivision. It's a larger subdivision than what we're accustomed to, and it's taken a little bit longer to
Longer to
build
do
out.
it. Okay, that makes sense.
But we do have a dirt pile
Mhm.
in the Oakview subdivision. If you get up on the north end, the problem is there's nobody living next door to it, so they're not
So
seeing
they're
it.
not seeing it.
You know, the people that built their houses on the end of that Red Oak Street, they're the closest ones to see it, but,
Mhm.
you know, they know it's a subdivision that's under construction.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Tim. All right, Allison.
All right, so I talked a little bit about the annual survey last time. It is done, signed and submitted. Takes a lot of time, hours, but it is required to be accredited and that's how we get our state funding. So that is done for the year. The boiler work started today, so I'm excited about that. They've got everything, I think, pretty much torn out and everything's kind of sitting there ready to go in. So that'll be our process there. And then they will also replace that air conditioning unit as well that needed to be replaced. Couple of things for programming that we're doing. We're going to be partnering with the Northeast Iowa Agency on Aging in November for 2 programs. One is a Health and Wellness 365, and then the second one is Rural Justice Project for Older Iowans with Iowa Legal Aid. And so those, the first one will have a lunch provided, and we're gonna ask the Friends of the Library to help sponsor that, about half the cost of that. It is free to the patrons, and the actual program itself, those 2 programs are free for us, other than the food part of it. And so we're looking at doing that, and of course, those are for people 60 and older. And then story time, now we have our new children's librarian. That has started up. We had 59 people at the pumpkin farm, and 24 people within our first week of regular story time again. We will have story time at the fire station on Friday, as well as our other 2 story times this week, well, 3. And then we'll start our bilingual story time once a month, with our volunteer and the new children's librarian. So that actually needed to be paused because the volunteer had a baby, so.
Oh, yeah.
So that was paused in May when she had her baby, and then, she came back and said, hey, I'd like to get that started again, so we're getting that started this month, and I think it's the last week of the month, is that one, I don't know if it'll always be that, but it'll be once a month, so, yeah. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Allison? All right, thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Randy, do you have anything else to tell us tonight?
Yeah, a couple things. Parking lot's done.
Yay.
Yay, we went a little bit over on the rock, because we didn't know how much rock we were gonna be able to keep and recycle. So, but if that's the worst that happened, that's pretty good.
much
we
over?
did- What's that?
How much over?
It was about, percentage wise, it doesn't sound good, it's like 300%. But in that small of an area, it doesn't take much to guess as far as how much percentage.
We don't have the final numbers yet on that, do you?
Yeah,
we
Oh,
Yeah,
do
we do, yeah, we got a
It's
final,
where to come in,
final was like 63,000.
and we had 75,000 budgeted.
Yeah, I think the original bid was 58 and change,
Mhm,
something like that,
okay.
so. Otherwise, everything, it looks good, I walked it this morning, it looks like it's draining just fine, so,
Great.
yeah, they did a really nice job. Took them a week, but six working days. Good,
It was dry, that helped.
they were dry, it helped, the crew that they have, it's great, they get out and they just scatter, they don't talk, they just do,
Mhm.
so. It was awesome. We did get our ISO rating back finally. And now it's a matter of trying to figure out what we're gonna do. As far as trying to keep that get that ISO rating. Right now, we're basically at 4, class 4. The ISO was like 63.59 or something like that. So now it's a matter of when it comes to replacing trucks. We're gonna have to have some pretty serious discussions on what we're going to do in the near future.
Mhm.
So we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
We did, the final flow tests, so all our air bottles got tested for the last time. We have 5 years on those and we are done. So we talked about the air packs before anyway, we're 2 standards behind and the manufacturer doesn't make them anymore. We're gonna have to go with a different manufacturer, so we're kind of in a bit of a pickle there. They work fine, but we're getting towards the end of life on them anyway. Auto mutual, there's been some talk through the county about auto mutual aid, basically for structure fires. All the small towns, Dundee, Masonville, everybody's kind of saying, if we get a structure fire, if we get a call during the day, you might get 3 people, if you're lucky, 5. So they're starting to kind of divvy up some areas as far as if Masonville gets a call, what area, depending on it's in, who's gonna get automatic.
Kind of like
calls
taking
from.
regions who are gonna
Yeah.
kind of be there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Mm,
We are fortunate enough where we don't need the
mhm.
auto mutual aid. If we get a call during the day, we'll have 10, 12, 15 guys if we need it.
Mhm.
So we don't need it,
Mhm.
but we're probably gonna have to help out some of these smaller communities. So that's coming, we're still kind of working some things out.
Very
Right now, it's just for structure fires, which thankfully we don't get very many to begin,
great.
so. And then, what else do I have? Oh, it's fire prevention week next week.
Yay. All right.
So we'll see, we're gonna be up at Lambert, St. Mary's, the daycares. And then it's homecoming too,
Mhm.
so it's in trucks up homecoming.
Didn't you say that you submitted for some grant or something not too long ago? Have you heard anything yet?
We have, no, the FEMA grant, we still haven't heard anything from them,
Probably tried it.
so. I have no idea. I don't know if we'll even hear back from them.
Mhm. Yeah,
I have no idea. And,
just curious.
yeah, I called the help desk and they're no help.
It's probably furloughed in.
And yeah, before that, before the furlough, yeah,
Mhm.
they were no help, so.
Okay.
They're really no help now.
Right, okay. All right, any other questions for Andy?
You guys doing an open house this year? Did you do one last year? I couldn't remember.
Did they?
I don't think so. We used to do one like every other year.
Would you like to do an open house this year?
Well, you guys, yeah. My hand says retired.
Yeah, we can talk about doing, we can bring that up tonight.
You know, the other thing that you brought up, mutual aid, we used to do that 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. We used to have that where Masonville said, you know, hey, we're always a little short on help. But if it's near Ryan, of course, it went to Ryan. If it was near us, it came to
Yeah,
us.
I think they're now just making it more official, so that the dispatchers have a map. That,
Oh,
okay,
gotcha.
this section
Makes sense.
goes here,
Yeah.
this section goes here.
I think they used to have a map years ago, but
They kind of do, but it's never really been official and it's never really,
I think it's beneficial. I mean, we saw it years ago. I mean,
yeah.
especially in structure or you get a cornfield and burn them like crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, field fires aren't part of the auto mutual aid, but that's, you get a big field fire, everybody's gonna join a party then. So,
Okay. Any other further questions? Thank you, Andy. All right, Brian.
I had, a situation where I almost hit an e-biker on coming out of my driveway. Bowden Tire did. And I've heard a couple other, complaints about, the e-bikes and it just stems from speed. When they're on it, they're not doing 5 mile an hour or 10 mile an hour, they're doing 15 or 20 mile an hour plus. And, my concern is, I almost, you know, I looked and the bushes are gone now. I looked and I looked again and there it is right there. And I almost clipped him. Kurt Burkle at Bowden Tire about clipped one. And with all the big trucks turning in the, commercial out there, not saying that's any better than, residential. What I'm worried about is, possibly an elder person getting run down because, you know, when they yell at you, hey, I'm behind you, and you turn one way or the other, you know, somebody's gonna get hit. Or if you have a dog, like I walk our dog, bicyclers aren't too bad because, you know, like I say, going 5 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour, they usually can stop. You see which way, but you know, your dog goes one way and you go the other and then, you know, the e-bike comes screaming down there. Somebody's getting hurt, the e-biker or the dog or, you know. So that's something that I wanted to bring up to the council and hopefully.
Yeah.
We can talk.
I talked to Ben a little bit. I asked him to check in what they're doing in Iowa City, Coralville area, Cedar Rapids. You know, those bigger cities, they've got a lot more of those e-bikes running around. And how are they handling it on their trail systems? How are they handling that in their downtown?
And I talked to Ben and last thing we wanna do is have them police and speed on the sidewalks when it's bad enough during in town, so.
So Brian, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Was he on the sidewalk or what?
No, he's on the bike trail.
Oh, it's on the
On
bike.
the bike trail,
Okay.
yeah. And, you know, it's, coming down, it's just, it's a bad situation.
We don't have speed limits on the bike trails, do we?
We don't, there's nothing posted. That's one of the things Ben and I talked a little bit about is how do you
How do you
post something
regulate that?
and how do you regulate it and who's, you know, using the radar. And when I talked to, Chad Wright about that, Captain Wright, he says he's not sure the radar gonna pick it up because you're not big enough art item for them to hit.
Gotcha.
Right.
Maybe we need to put out reminders to, you know, watch your.
Yeah, you know, just common
Signage
courtesy.
or-
common
Courtesy
courtesy.
is the biggest
Yeah.
thing.
You know, cause you don't wanna
Yeah.
deter, you know, I see more and more of the,
Right.
elderly, elderly people that are actually using them, which is, I think is cool, but there again, you know, they're gonna go slow, but some of them aren't going as, you know.
Well, I mean, I got a buddy of mine that their entire family got e-bikes. They all go on e-bike rides and they pop over every once in a while when the garage doors are open. You know, yeah, I mean, educate a little bit maybe, you know, kinda like, hey, you guys realize that like they are bikes, but they're not really bikes.
Yeah, they can go a little bit faster.
Right.
Those little scooters too that are motorized can zip along too. I've
to come and close.
Is there any way to put something out there, like in the paper or something, say,
We can, put something together, we'll, work with Ben, like I said, I wanted to hear what other cities have done in
Right.
large metro areas that have a little bit
Right.
higher concentration, and then we can, work off of that.
And then, second, thing that I've gotten some calls on is, basically from Grand Avenue to the sports complex. When they're having, games up there, there's parking on both sides of the street. And I've come through there with my boom truck and you're in a gauntlet. And basically, what I'm worried about is, if a kid comes out even at 10 mile an hour, you're crushing. So, and you don't know, cause there's cars on both sides and you got barely enough room to get through there, let alone if you got a big semi or a feed truck. So, a few people have mentioned possibly doing no parking signs on the north side from like Grand Avenue down to the sports complex, just to keep the people from parking on cause now with Grand Avenue, people can go up Grand and park, they can go, maybe we can work something out with the school so that we could open up that east section there.
We're
And
the bus.
they could park there versus having to park in a sports complex and walk around the dry run, yeah, it's just, I've gotten 3 calls now, so.
But the same thing up at the school too, when school's in session on, what is it, Prospect Street? Yeah. Yeah,
Special events.
special events.
It is congested up there, of course. It's harvest season, we've got semis coming through, seen combines and tractors trying to go through there during that time. We do have special programs going on. And I agree though, it's very tight, you're concentrating really hard to make sure that you don't have a young kid jumping out in front of
You
you.
almost stop, you're down to 5 mile an hour going through there, cause even at 5 mile an hour, a little kid runs out there.
But my concern is if we do the parking on the other, or no parking on the other side, it opens it up and so they feel empowered to go a little faster.
True. The only thing is, I'd rather take the ditch
There's,
than, your option is hit the kid or hit a vehicle. You're not gonna get stopped fast enough.
Do they use the whole fields up there when they're doing it? Is it something we can work out with the school?
They use the field right next to the drag run to the northeast of the track. So,
And I get it, parents are getting off late and they're trying to watch their kids and they just park wherever and they don't necessarily park far enough off,
could we throw a temporary bridge over the dry run? Use the Beckman complex parking, have a bridge to come across, and then it'd just be something that we know, like if we've got a heavy rain coming or something, we can figure out a way to
get out of there.
pull it up. I don't know.
In theory, that works great. The challenge is everything else is going on as soon as we get a heavy rain. If we think there's flooding, guys are going everywhere else trying to get things
Right.
coordinated. That bridge, yeah, we could do something minor, but it just opens it itself up for other issues.
Right.
But something we've talked about for a long time, we can have that conversation again about putting no parking on that north side there. Since we now have Grand Avenue a little bit opened up, they could get up in there.
When they did all of that out there, well before my time, they stopped at angle parking or whatever, right next to the middle school. How come they didn't keep coming down?
That was before my time.
Which way are you talking, which way, west or east?
Coming east.
Coming east, going towards the complex, they already got, I've sat there and watched fireworks back when the fair used to do it, and just having
I
that
did
parking
too.
lot go longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll put that on there.
Paid for by the school,
Okay.
not by the city.
Could you just do temporary, like we do for parades and stuff, no parking signs there?
That's what I would do.
Well, and if you go through other communities too, when you're driving through, like larger communities where there's a major thoroughfare going through by a school, sometimes they'll have certain lights that light up different times during the day, like when school's in session or something, that this is a speed limit during these hours. I don't know if that's something that's helpful or not. I don't know if that would help with any of that stuff, including what you talked about earlier with the, yeah.
It
but
might be too confusing.
exactly, I know, we, too many signs and then people
Yeah.
don't pay attention at all.
That's right.
It's just people need to slow down. But yeah,
Anyway, that's all I had.
alright. Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Linda?
Is there any way you can set up a tour for anyone's storage?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is there any way you can set up a tour?
Oh, sure,
Because I know
absolutely.
that some people higher up got to see, it. I would love to see what's going on there.
Sure, I will talk to Donna and Marty and see if we can get something set up.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, Marianne? Nothing. Joe?
Yeah, so I went and picked up some stuff out at, Good Vibes today, and, got to see Cheese and Way. I don't know how many of you guys have had the opportunity to go out there, but that was pretty neat to see that, what Tad's been working on, and I did pop my head into the bowling alley, while I was out in that neck of the woods, and man, that's really, I'm getting excited. Like, I'm pretty sure Taz isn't gonna want everybody and their brothers out there just poking their head in there, but this is gonna be pretty cool. I'm getting excited for it, so I just wanted to share that.
Bill?
No, my only thing was for Jason, he answered my question when they were gonna start leaf pickup. And the people were kind of questioning and said, well, for now, take it to the brush dump.
Yep.
That's bad, but, you know,
Monday we'll go at it.
are you gonna be doing certain areas, starting certain areas, which way, or?
Same as what it's always been, it's the same leaf map, it'll start on the south end of town and work to the north. Then Friday, we kind of use as a makeup day.
Yep, yep.
When you guys do your leaf pickup, do you guys have Monday we do this part of it, Tuesday we do that part of it?
Yes.
Like that's already all
There's
set
a
up?
map out
Yeah,
there,
there's a map.
Yep.
Yeah, I can make copies for the
I
county.
mean, I've really seen the map, but I've never like, I just
Paid.
paid that much attention to it, and I've had that, you know, that kind of
It
question.
was shared on Facebook.
Yeah,
It was already shared.
put it on the council information. And that way, then
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
who gets onto the council
Agenda.
knows agenda could see it.
Mhm.
All right, I will do that.
So that would be a good way maybe to do it, and then also on the website.
Yeah.
Good
And
to be on.
it's on, I think it's on
I'm
the
sure it's probably
website,
already on
it'll
the
be in the
website, I don't
newspaper as
worry
well.
about it.
Right.
It's 4 days and then we use Friday as kind of a makeup day and. it's how
Catch
we-
up,
if
it
we
started
are-
raining or something
Yeah,
changed,
yeah.
blowing wind, it ain't a good day to get them up, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, a couple people have made the comment, how many trees they've saw so far that have lost their leaves.
Yeah, there's some of them
I got a
lost
big
real
yard
early.
that's like
Yeah.
empty already. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know, but like I said, I know it's gonna be coming out, and it always was Thursdays for up my neck of the woods.
yep, Thursday will still be, yep, we'll be
So-
here.
I'll let them know.
Yeah.
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay, awesome. All right, I don't have anything else to add tonight, and it's 5:57. I've got a motion from Bill, a second from Joe, that we're adjourned, and we are adjourned.